I may have you say the pledge. Ready on? Okay. Welcome, everyone, to the February 7th meeting of the Delaware County Board of Trustees. And if Chief Vest would please lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Chief. With us today is Commissioner Gary Merrill. I'm Barb Lewis, President. And we have Mike Fromer, our administrator, and Sarah DeNovo is our clerk. We can begin.
Resolution number 19-107, in the matter of approving the electronic of the record of proceedings from regular meeting held February 4th, 2019.
So moved.
Second, discussion vote.
Vote on motion 19-107. Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Benton is absent today. We do have one signed up for public comment this morning.
No public comment at this time.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
Resolution number 19-108, in the matter of approving purchase orders, then and now certificates and payments of warrants in batch number CM-APR0206, and memo transfers in batch numbers MT-APR0206.
So moved.
Second, discussion vote.
Vote on motion 19-108. Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Resolution number 19-109, in the matter of approving travel expense requests.
So moved.
Second, discussion vote.
Vote on motion 19-109. Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
That brings us to item number 5, Chief Gary Vest.
The EMS Working Group discussion update. Thank you, Chief, for coming today.
Good morning, Commissioners, folks here. What I'd like to say, I want to give you an update and at least a very cursory view of a document you may have already received, which was the Delaware County Pre-Hospital Care System Executive Summary. I also want to state before I get started that I'm wearing 3 hats, okay? And I will clarify that in case I make a statement because I'm not at liberty to speak for everybody. I'm going to speak on behalf of the group that diligently worked on this draft. I'm going to mention my role as the police chief in Powell, Ohio, and represent my city. And then I'm a resident of Delaware County and a Liberty Township resident, so I might, if you want any clarification when I say something, hey, am I representing who? I'll tell you exactly which hat I got on. But my first hat and most important hat is to try to resolve this issue or concerns. And what I want to do, and I'm going to make it real clear, I want to see this redirected. And what I'm going to say is that we've been dealing with the symptom of a problem and not the cause of the problem. The root cause of the problem is the county's not the same county it was in 1973. We've got 4 decades of experience that's gone through here. And when I was this morning, when I got here a little early and was looking at your map over there, and I said, look at all the jurisdictions and the growth, okay? A decision was made over 4 decades ago with a relationship between the people that were the main players at that time, which was Delaware City, Delaware County, and Liberty Township, okay? Even the U.S. Constitution and state constitution have been amended since then at least once. So it's time for us to revisit the document, look at what it is. But now, the next question I want you to do as we go through this pre-hospital care system is, in looking at the current state of EMS, that they employ over 200 medics, operate 16 paramedic transport units, and respond to over 10,000 calls annually, okay? That's not 1973 numbers, okay? Let's also look that this is expanded into what we have an absolutely great county EMS, very competent, very good service, okay? But we've also expanded in what they call fire-based EMS into Concord Township, Harlan Township, Genoa Township, Orange Township, and still Liberty Township that was part of the original agreement, and obviously Delaware City. We've included three other municipalities that have grown into Delaware County: Columbus, Dublin, Westerville. And I know I think it was yesterday, maybe the day before, we had a fire in Liberty Township, and we had support from not only within the county, mutual aid, but we also had our neighbors there in Washington Township out of the Dublin area assisting us. Mutual aid is not an agreement between one entity and another. It's a collaborative effort countywide. We've allowed this particular situation to be diverted to a 1973 agreement and the relationship between one entity and another, as opposed to re-examining the entire problem. The problem rests with governance. Our group, and let me clarify this, the real knowledgeable people, I'm not one of them, okay? So the real knowledgeable people are that we had the fire chief, Chief Donahue from Delaware City, Chief O'Brien, Tom O'Brien from Liberty Township, Chief Mike Schilling of our EMS unit in the county, and Patrick Brandt, who's, I got him over here too. See, okay, and so Patrick. And let me tell you, they were working on this long before I got involved, okay? I got concerned when I saw this becoming a public issue and not an operational issue at the local level. And so I attended one trustee meeting, and then I reached out to all three trustees, as well as all three commissioners, just trying not to make this a public issue, but to make this an opportunity for us to turn this thing around. I look at Patrick as, which by the way, our 911 service is great, and one of the things I'd like to do is model a future EMS board, much like what the county has done with 911. 20 years ago plus, when I got here, 911 was a mess. Delaware City and Delaware County worked together to create a consolidated center down there, which does an outstanding job. They're going to get accredited this year, and national accreditation, actually. And so we've got many opportunities, many examples of how we can move this project forward in a way that it's not personal biases, mine or anybody else's. What I'd like to do is as I look at these recommendations, I actually changed them slightly. And I'm going to take the liberty of just saying the first recommendation out of this group was to establish the establishment of a Delaware County Pre-Hospital Care System Board of Directors, okay? And have them provide the oversight to the operations, quality of service, policy, strategic planning, medical direction, training, and interoperability. 2 through 7 on their list is all part of that board working on it. Okay, and so that board's going to actually work on update the medical dispatching system, okay, to develop a uniform training program, to develop a single evidence-based medical protocol. Boy, when I first got involved in this, everybody was talking about medical directors and protocols and this and that, and I don't think everybody really had a full sense of what we were talking about. We had some concerns about run cards. Those are things that let the EMS provider, let the fire chief meet with the 911, and he's kind of like the air traffic controller. Let him give them some feedback as to how the system ought to work, instead of us on the outside saying, well, I want this, and I don't want to give up that. Yeah. You know what? Our professionals know how to do it. It's hard for a police chief to give so much credit to my fire and EMS buddies, but I will. No, they know what they're doing. What we need to do is we need some governance oversight to allow them to be more effective, because every run that they make, they're going to put 100% in. There's no question about that. What came up as part of the discussions is whether or not the right person at the right time is getting the call. And if somebody is drowning, my feeling is not only do you tell all the medics in the area, but you also tell the cops, okay? Well, we work that through the 911 center, because when that call comes out in the Powell Police Department, and I know the sheriff, they're going to support these calls. An AD with a Powell police officer is a good thing. An AD that gets transferred over to a medic is a better thing, okay? that we've got people that can work together, and we plan together, and we put this back where it's supposed to be on patient care first, and then we figure out finances down the road. Once we redefine what patient care looks like across this county, we have the opportunity to bring everybody to the table, and that's unfortunately not a political process, but an operational process to get the fire chiefs, the EMS, the 911. I think we'll get some great things back from them, but we owe it to the county as it is today to be much broader in this discussion. And quite frankly, any discussions in a narrow scope between one jurisdiction and another is counterproductive for this process.
Right. Thank you. Thank you so much, Chief Vest, for your leadership on this. As county commissioners, our two highest EMS priorities are to provide for the public's safety and to ensure operational efficiency. Nobody knows more about public safety than our first responders, and you are certainly one of Delaware's finest. Thank you. You're proposing the framework for an operational model that will enable us to improve our EMS system countywide. Working together, our EMS experts will study and make operational improvements and also recommendations to our elected officials, who will then consider and implement them within budgetary constraints. A couple of weeks ago, you publicly stated, and I quote, "Protocols need to be built, as you just said, around the patient's care. We need to put patient care first. We were in error to discuss money before operations because the money would guide us to the wrong solutions." I totally agree with that. Only by listening to our EMS experts will we find the best solutions for everyone concerned. After fine-tuning countywide operations, including advanced 911 dispatching, centralized EMS training, and other improvements, we can then proceed to consider cost sharing and cost reduction options. So I wholeheartedly support the formation of a countywide pre-hospital care system board of directors. And I'm pleased at this time to offer a resolution
May I
to
speak first, please?
approve. Yes, you'll have a chance to speak.
Before you make the motion, please.
Well, I'm right in the middle of it, and we'll have a discussion as soon as I make it. And I'm pleased at this time to offer a resolution to approve its formation. And I also recommend that we appoint our county administrator, Mike Fromer, to take the lead on this. Yesterday morning, Mike provided us with a one-page memo outlining how this board would be organized and what it would do. I'd like to read the memo's executive summary and recommendations. Executive summary. The current level of emergency medical services provided to the people who live in and visit Delaware County is considered by many to be among the best in Ohio. However, there's a rare opportunity to take these services to an even higher level and better position them to implement cutting-edge technology and best practices at a reduced cost to each service provider. This will be accomplished through regional collaboration, resource pooling, and shared services. Delaware County will propose the creation of a Delaware County Pre-Hospital Care System Board of Directors to oversee the operations and procedures for emergency medical services throughout Delaware County. All organizations that currently provide emergency medical services in Delaware County will be provided to participate. Do I have a second? And then we can have a discussion.
I will second it. I do have discussion.
Sure, absolutely.
And I would have made the motion, but I was privileged to serve on this committee. Gary Vest and I had a conversation 5-6 weeks ago, whatever the time frame was, and I'd like to thank the participants on that committee, Chief O'Brien, Chief Schilling, Patrick Brandt, and Chief Donahue. Those are the 4 people that made up this committee and brought the proposal that you have a copy of today. The purpose of this committee was to work on procedures and protocols. I think they've done an exemplary job in doing that, and I think Gary Vest Your leadership and direction, this has been extremely important. And I fully support the motion. I would have been honored the opportunity to have made the motion since I was involved in it, but regardless of that, I think it sends us on a road that we need to travel. Procedures and protocols throughout this county are an issue. They've been an issue for a while, and we've had that conversation. And the welfare and of the people who live in this county is the priority of everyone. Whether it's the township, in this case Liberty, or Delaware County, or Delaware City, or the other townships, I'm going to start listing them, I'll be here all day, and I'll miss somebody. We all have the same goal, and we're fortunate to have quality in this county. And we don't want to lose sight of that. So with that, I prepare to vote?
Okay, all right. Now, would you like to be the author of this motion then?
No, go ahead, you made the
All right,
motion.
okay.
I was trying to cut you off, but you wouldn't let me.
Okay. Yeah, all right.
Can I read what you read?
Yes. Which part would you like?
The resolution.
The resolution?
Yes.
The resolution, yeah.
Basically, just accept the,
Just to accept the resolution would be to accept the formation of a Delaware County Pre-Hospital Care System Board, as outlined by what I mentioned and
discuss policies and
Chief-
procedures.
Yeah, best policies and procedures, right, and as Chief Vest outlined.
We're going to call that resolution number 19-110. Motion by Mrs. Lewis, seconded by Mr. Merrill. And accepting the formation of the Delaware County Pre-Hospital Board, Policy Board or Board?
It's the Pre-Hospital Care, yeah,
Okay.
System Board.
So vote on motion 19-110. Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mr. Benton is still absent.
Now, with that, I would like to make a comment. May I?
Oh, sure.
There's been I'm going to read and comment a little bit at the same time here. There's been a great deal of conversation about the possibility, and I stress the word possibility, of Delaware County contacting to provide EMS service to Delaware Township, and you all very much aware of that. Many residents have expressed their concern as to why any change is necessary, and residents have come to our meeting to express that concern on a number of occasions, and I'd have to say everyone's been extremely professional on both sides of the issue. I have found that those who have attended our session to speak or just to listen have been sincere in expressing their concerns during or after session regarding the proposal that we had directed our administrator to submit for consideration by the township. I should add that it is not unreasonable for trustees to ask, is there a better way? And that was done when the county was asked to submit a proposal. But it is also reasonable and appropriate for Liberty residents to express their doubts, concerns as to why this proposal should be considered. And they have expressed their satisfaction with the current system and see no reason for consideration of a change from that system. There are certainly issues that deserve to be discussed, work which has begun by the work and recommendation of the EMS working group that we've already talked about. And for these reasons, I move we formally suspend the proposal we directed our county administrator to submit to Liberty Township and allow the EMS working group to continue their evaluation. That's my motion.
And would you entertain one amendment to the motion, which would be to withdraw the motion at this time?
I said suspend the motion. I think that accomplishes that.
All right, I will, I just hate to leave the uncertainty. That's
No,
the
to
only
me, there's-
thing. You know.
I don't think it's a time to split hairs, and I think the word suspend accomplishes that, so.
All right,
That's my motion.
second,
Okay.
or discussion, further discussion?
think I've-
Okay, all right. Sorry, vote?
That's okay. Resolution number 19-111, the motion to suspend suspend the proposal from Delaware County to EMS. Oh, sorry. Okay.
Okay. I'll get through it later.
Okay.
Sorry. Can you-
Here you go. Just, maybe you read from the last paragraph, I think basically.
Last-
said. You want me to restate it?
No, actually, I'm going to start all over.
Okay.
Resolution number 19-111, and the motion to suspend resolution number 18-1315, which was the authority to give the proposal to Liberty Township. clear. The motion was made by Mr. Merrill, seconded by Mrs. Lewis. Vote on motion 19-111. Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Benton is still absent.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. We will now resume our regular meeting.
Regular scheduled meeting?
Everyone's welcome to stay, but I have a feeling. Yeah, no, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
On to sewers now.
On to sewers,
Tiffany's
yes.
got something really
Yeah,
exciting.
yeah.
Room out, huh?
Thank you, Commissioners. Item number 6, resolution number 19-112, in the matter of accepting sanitary sewer improvements for Scioto Ridge Crossing Section 3.
So moved.
Second, discussion.
Morning, Commissioners. Tiffany Mag, Director of Environmental Services. This resolution is for some sanitary sewer improvements that were installed and met all of our requirements. This subdivision is located next to Clarkshaw Moors, and it's just east of South Section Line Road.
Okay, any discussion? Vote.
Vote on motion 19-112. Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Resolution number 19-113, in the matter of approving a professional services agreement with Black & Veatch Corporation for the preliminary design of aeration system improvements at the Lower Scioto WRF as identified in the treatability report.
So moved.
Second, discussion.
So this is a project to perform preliminary design for some aeration upgrades out at the Lower Scioto treatment plant. Currently, the way that the plant is set up, we need to perform some upgrades to be able to achieve our limits once we receive more flow through the plant. So this is kind of a project to get out ahead of that. We're actually going to be performing these improvements in-house. So after this preliminary design effort, you'll see our guys getting out there and actually doing the work themselves. So we request your approval.
All right, thank you. Vote.
Vote on motion 19-113. Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Resolution number 19-114, in the matter of approving a professional services agreement with Black & Veatch Corporation for the modeling of plant recycle flows and the preparation of the final Lower Scioto treatability report for the Ohio EPA.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Vote.
So this,
sorry.
this report is required by the Ohio EPA as part of our NPDES permit. So we're going to be, it's actually required by April 1st of this year. So we're going to be putting this together pretty quickly with our consultant here. But they actually did get a jump start on it last year and have the majority of the information. So that's how they prepared the recommendations for this report. So this project is to actually prepare the document that gets sent to the EPA.
Oh, great, thank you.
Vote on motion 19-114. Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Thanks.
Resolution number 19-115, in the matter of approving supplemental appropriations for the Delaware General Health District.
So moved.
Second. Discussion.
Brad Lutz, Director of Business Operations. Before you have a supplemental appropriations motion made by the General Health District that was approved by their board on January 29th. This is simply accounting cleanup in regards to a grant, particularly the litter grant that's administered by their program.
Okay. Vote.
Vote on motion 19-115. Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Resolution number 19-116, in the matter of approving a recommendation by the Delaware County Local Emergency Planning Committee to approve the appointment of representatives.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
Morning, Commissioners. Sean Miller, Director, Delaware County Office of Homeland Security and Emergency Management. And before you, for your consideration, is this membership resolution, which is a recommendation to the state of Ohio, specifically the State Emergency Response Commission, or CERC, which would make the appointment of these members. And the local emergency planning committees are charged with planning and exercise responsibilities for hazardous materials. And so on this list is a wide variety of different disciplines, not only public safety, public health, but also industry. So just a couple of examples. We have PPG represented on this committee, as well as Marathon, Consolidated Electric, and a couple of others. But it is a forum at which items pertaining to hazardous materials can be discussed, and we have had very good participation, not only from industry, but other partners as well. And so with that, I would be happy to entertain any questions you might have on LEPC or the process through the state through which the state would make these appointments.
How long has the committee, LEPC, been in effect?
They were established, I believe, in the late 80s, and this, in Ohio law, is very nearly a mirror to the federal statutes, which were established after the Bhopal, India incident, the Union Carbide incident, where there were hundreds of people killed and injured from a chemical release. So since roughly the late 80s, early 90s, these LEPCs have been in place.
Okay, thank you. And certainly, serving on the committee is really important because we've had a lot more spills, unfortunately.
We've
A
had
lot
some.
of trucks coming through.
That's right. Transportation is another part of this. It's not just fixed facilities, and so we look at a lot of planning and exercises for transportation incidents as well. One of the requirements for LEPCs is to exercise the hazardous materials plan every year. And so last year, our scenario revolved around a rail incident in Orange Township. And that was a discussion-based exercise. This year, I believe we'll utilize the same scenario, but we'll change it a little bit to more of an operations-based exercise, kind of walking before we run. So that'll be taking place this year.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Vote.
Vote on motion 19-116. Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Sean can take the wheel.
Very good, thank you. The next item is simply an update of Commissioner's authorities in a disaster. And I believe you have the list of authorities with the appropriate code, but I have also printed off a sample disaster
okay.
declaration resolution as well.
Thank you.
I do have it.
It's kind of a fill in the blank. But with this, one of the most common authorities that boards of commissioners are looked at to implement during a disaster is that of declaring a local disaster or having a local disaster declaration in place. And this is important for a couple of different reasons. The state of Ohio will often look to counties to see if they have issued such a declaration. And essentially, it's a statement that local resources are exhausted. And so think back, if you will, to Hurricane Ike in 2008. That was one of the last very big natural disasters that we had in Delaware County. And that was the last time that we had a presidential disaster declaration associated with that. And so that means that we received federal aid as part of that disaster. Now that was very interesting because the county had some costs with that, but also the electrical co-op had costs associated with that, as well as other public entities. There was no individual assistance associated with that disaster, which would go to homeowners and private entities, but there was public assistance as a result of that. So it's a statement that local resources are overwhelmed and we need additional assistance. And that is really the first step in freeing up state resources. So think about Ohio Department of Transportation, perhaps ODNR, Natural Resources, or perhaps even the National Guard. So it's really a way to signal to the state of Ohio that we are overwhelmed and we need help. It's also a demonstration to the public that the county takes whatever the incident is very seriously and is a kind of a statement of a statement that there is kind of a clear and present danger, and it really is a way to show the public that we take it seriously. It also changes bidding thresholds, and I won't get too far into the codes, but per Ohio Revised Code section 307, and it changes the thresholds therein, and so that enables larger purchases to be made with fewer restrictions on those. It also memorializes the disaster and incident, and one of the important things to keep in mind with local disaster declarations is Once the county declares a disaster, emergency management would then get that to the state of Ohio Emergency Management, and then a governor's declaration could be made. The Ohio Emergency Management Agency would take the information fed to them by counties and kind of paint a whole picture for the state. And based off of that, the governor may issue a declaration freeing up state resources. And if it is of severe enough impact, there may be a presidential declaration as well, freeing up federal resources. Regardless of how high it goes in this process, the documentation of finances becomes very important. That way, if federal assistance does become available, all of the expenses incurred are defensible, and we can show where our expenses went and that sort of thing. So that documentation for personnel, for emergency supplies and equipment becomes very important, certainly. Another item for consideration in a disaster is that of shelter operations. And so typically, emergency management would be the entity that coordinates this, with the Red Cross being the operational lead for this function. However, it is permissible for the Board of County Commissioners to provide support to this operation. I think that that would be generally a very extreme case. For as long as I've been involved in emergency management with Delaware County, the Red Cross has really been able to take this ball and run with it without any request going to the commissioners for additional financial support. And we did have occasion recently to work with the Red Cross during a very long-lived power outage for a specific apartment complex, and they were phenomenal partners. Additionally, the Red Cross reached out to me during one of the recent snowstorms and said that if we needed a shelter to be opened, that they stood ready and capable to provide that function and could have such a shelter stood up within a few hours. So I think their capabilities had waned for a while in Delaware County, but I think they are on the upswing, and I believe that's a very positive thing. But I just mentioned that because in perhaps a longer-lived kind of an incident, a more extreme kind of an incident, the county commissioners could be asked for support, financial support for that function. Very similarly to that, the function of mass feeding is another area in which the county commissioners might be asked to provide some support. This was last done on a wide scale in 2008 as a result of Hurricane Ike, but again, there was no request to the county commissioners for that. It was provided by private nonprofits such as Salvation Army. And lastly, second to last, resource control. Again, going back to Ohio Revised Code 307, which was cited above, the need for emergency purchases through the Board of Commissioners may become necessary, and that would be certainly coordinated through emergency management, and we would work with the county administrator to brief the Board of Commissioners if such a request became necessary. Lastly, enacting a curfew should the need arise, and this would be channeled through law enforcement. Excuse me, if they were having operational issues on scene where the need for a curfew became evident, we would brief the county commissioners as well as the Board of County Administrator as well as the Board of Commissioners on that request from law enforcement, and we would channel that up to you. But that is another ability or authority that the Board of County Commissioners have in a disaster. So I don't want to take up too much of your time today, but I'd be happy to entertain any questions you have pertaining to these. And again, that sheet that I passed out is a sample disaster declaration that we could utilize should the need arise.
Okay.
Hopefully never have to use it.
Yeah.
That's right, that's right. Hopefully, since we have it in place, we won't ever have to use it.
I have nothing to add. You always do a very good job of explaining. So.
Thank you.
Yeah. So the major categories would be the declaration of a local disaster, to conduct shelter operations, perform mass feedings, resource control, and enact a curfew. those are our responsibilities under the Delaware County Emergency Operations Plan.
Yes, and one of the things that we have discussed, of course, Commissioner, is myself coming perhaps quarterly to talk to the Board of Commissioners on updates for emergency management, just to keep it somewhat at the forefront. I'd be happy to do that, certainly.
Okay, thank you.
And-
It's very clear.
Very good. And just to kind of summarize, it does very much fall in line within that public safety and welfare, going back to the previous discussion. So it is very much in line with that.
Okay, okay, great. Okay.
Thank you, Commissioners. Appreciate
Thank
the
you.
time today.
Thanks for the briefing. Thank you. Administrator reports.
I have nothing to report today.
Commissioner Merrill.
You don't have a choice, there's only one to choose from.
That's right, that's right.
Attended the Delaware Area Chamber of Commerce dinner Monday evening, the annual dinner, and I'm not going to go through the litany of awards. I'm sure you've all seen them in the newspaper, and but a great county, great turnout, great opportunity to meet other people in our county, and Joe Pemberton was Citizen of the Year and did a wonderful job of naming all the people in the county that he could think of, and it was quite long.
It was,
So,
yeah.
but his point was that there's a lot of people who are deserving of Citizen of the Year based on their contributions, I think.
He's a
So-
very gracious
He did,
person. He
and-
does so much.
And enthusiastic.
Yes, yes,
The
yeah.
other thing, I attended with Commissioner Benton yesterday, and he was ill yesterday, but he did stick around for the luncheon for Main Street, and they did get, I won't think of the word, continuation of their acknowledgement of the successful Main Street
Yes,
in the
Yeah.
state. And after that, we went over to visit the, Tom Homan and the mayor took us over to visit the Cohatch, which is the old dispatch, excuse me, the Gazette building, going back a little too far to say
Yeah,
dispatch. So I've been in both.
yeah.
And I was, and I think I could say the same for the other people that were there for the first time, amazing what they have done with that building. It is, I know what it was like the 5 years I spent in that building. And I don't know if you had an opportunity to go into it yet or not, but the number of offices we're able to put in that first floor, the setup, which is similar to some we've seen in other locations in Columbus, very impressive. And then the second floor will be used for city offices, and there ultimately will build a connection to those two buildings. But if you haven't been there, I'd encourage you to make a walk over there. I think it's generally open during the day, and see it for yourself, and you should too. So, and that's all I have.
Yeah, and this is modeled, then the purpose of it is for, is it shared workspaces?
Let's say, now that would give you my interpretation, it's
Okay.
probably broader than I'm going to give you, but a small business may be moving to the area, but they don't have office space, or they're still trying to get their feet under them financially. It's a place where they can have temporary offices and
Oh, okay, okay.
to kind of begin the process. But the theory, at some point, they'll wean themselves, and the theory being because they established themselves here in Delaware City, they would remain in the city, or at least the county. So,
Oh, great,
yeah.
good.
I'm sure Tom, or the mayor, would give a little more specific explanation.
No,
than I
that
just gave.
explains it, yeah, I'll have to get over there.
That's all I
Sounds-
have.
Sounds good, thank you. Do I recess or just go into the work session?
Executive session.
Oh, I'm
Yeah, we
sorry,
have
you're right. Okay, we do have need for executive session.
Resolution number 19-117, in the matter of adjourning into executive session for consideration of employment of a public employee or public official for pending or imminent litigation for collective bargaining.
So move, second.
Whichever.
Yeah,
Take it.
whatever, yeah. We are now
Can we vote?
recessed.
Vote.
Got to vote.
Oh, sorry, vote.
Vote on motion 19-117. Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye, we are now recessed into executive session. Thank you. Okay.
Resolution number 1 and 9-118, in the matter of adjourning out of executive session.
So moved.
Second, discussion vote.
Vote on motion 19-118. Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Chair, my understanding is somebody would like to speak, and since we didn't have the items listed specifically on the agenda, I think that's a unique situation that would deserve, for 3 minutes, to waive the rules. So I'd make a motion we do that.
Yes, I will second that motion, I agree. Vote, discussion vote.
Resolution number 19-119, in the matter of approving for a specific occurrence, is this rule of suspension 3, speaker registration. We are still having the limitations, is that correct?
3 minutes.
And Rule 7, public comment procedure from rules governing the public comment before the County Board of Commissioners of Delaware County, Ohio. The first was made by Mr. Merrill, the seconded by Mrs. Lewis. Vote on motion 19-119. Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
All right.
Commissioners, good morning and thank you. My name is Nico Fernano. I'm at 2855 Lexington Drive here in Delaware County. It's also in Liberty Township. I wanted to speak before you this morning to extend our appreciation for the work both of Chief Vest and the Chiefs O'Brien, Donahue, and Schuling, as well as Director Brandt on the EMS working group. We think that's been a very positive development for our community, and we appreciate your support of that initiative as they work to understand the unique situation for EMS in our county and how we can improve it. We also deeply appreciate the commissioners and your thoughtful consideration of the resolution this morning to create a Delaware County Pre-Hospital Care System Board to provide oversight and leadership to the EMS service delivery in the county. As Chief Vest mentioned, Delaware County has seen some significant changes since the early 1970s when a lot of these structures were put in place, including 4 townships adding fire-based EMS service to the service delivery model in our county, those being Concord, Genoa, Harlem, and Orange. Those townships account for a significant amount of the population of Delaware County, as well as a significant share of the EMS service delivery in the county, and are important players in the discussion about how we best provide service to the visitors and residents of the county. I would ask the commissioners to consider a potential amendment to the resolution that created the EMS pre-hospital board earlier today that would include the fire chiefs of all departments that provide EMS service in the county, so adding Concord, Genoa, Harlem, and Orange to that board of directors as integral parts to the service delivery of the county, and also to consider adding the medical directors of any EMS agency in the county to that board so they could give their direct medical expertise to determine what would be in the best interest of patient safety and care in a pre-hospitalization setting for our visitors and residents. But again, mostly we appreciate your time and attention to this issue, your thoughtful consideration about how we can move our county forward and make sure that we're providing the best care for our residents and for our visitors, and for that we thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Just to clarify, the cross-trained services of Harlem, Concord, Genoa, and Orange will be included on the board.
Fantastic.
So you're welcome.
And the thought about medical directors being an active and named part of that board?
I don't know.
We need to get up the committee.
I think that, yes, exactly. I think, that's a decent suggestion, but I would give that to the committee.
Yeah, and I think
Let
the
them-
medical directors are contract employees of the entities, so I'm sure that the representatives, the chiefs, would be getting information from their professionals and contract employees. So we can talk about that with the committee, but I think
Sure.
their voices are inherently heard through their representatives on the committee, so. But anyway,
Right.
but your comments, the committee's success will be dependent on getting the input from the medical directors, how that happens.
How that happens will be determined, but no, good suggestion.
Great.
No,
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for waiting and for speaking. Thank you. All right, and we are to adjourn to go into our work session. Hearing no other business, we are adjourned. And we will be moving